You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. I am Daniel.
And I'm Clint, and we gone shut that front door.
Only two boxes today.
There's only two boxes. The band is not complete. So one day it will be again. We're back. No guests this time, but don't worry, they will be back. We will have plenty more planned. A lot of you all on Twitter. By the way, I'm just letting you know right now. Just show us something, okay? Like, just show me something on Twitter.
What we got?
See if I don't contact you to be on this pod.
I'm just saying, it's not just an open invite we're putting out there, okay?
I said, show me something. That wasn't an open invite. It wasn't an open invite.
When you say show me something to a person on Twitter, there's just so many ways that
actually,
it can go.
You know what? That's interwebbing 101.
Literally all of them are wrong. All of them are not pleasant.
Well,
okay.
Well, now that I've been fired thrice from the podcast,
so M-Dubs, saddle up. We ride tomorrow.
Hey, if you're a fan of UGA football and basketball, you're in the right spot. Daniel and I are fans first and foremost. We love UGA football in season right now. Every single day, we're coming at you on the YouTube and on Pod. Wherever you listen, Daniel's going to let you know how to get there. But we're fans. We're not gurus or insiders. We talk like fans. We want your fandom to increase, which is why we made this podcast.
By the way, if you're watching on YouTube right now, Locked On Bulldogs, just search Locked On Bulldogs on YouTube. You'll see I'm doing a bit of traveling at the tail end of this week, and so I'm in the hotel room, the old hotel room recording studio. So if the internet's weird, if you hear like an ice machine outside the door or something, I can't be held responsible for any of these things. But
okay, I just told everybody on Twitter to show me something. Daniel was saying, don't worry about the noises from the hotel room. This is off to a flying start.
M-Dubs, you ride solo tomorrow. Get ready to hold this thing down. All right. We are in two places. It's a podcast in two places. And you can follow us in both places. You can go ahead and subscribe in both places. We're in audio form wherever podcasts are found. We know that's still how many of you consume the show and love to listen to the show. The original means it's on Spotify, it's on Stitcher, it's on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast, you can find it. If you like the show and you listen on there, then subscribe and leave us a 5-star rating and review. Those help new people find the show. When new people find the show, it's good for you boys. And so we appreciate it dearly. You can also, if you want to support the show and you only listen on audio, you can just cruise on over to YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube channel. A subscription on YouTube means actually quite a bit to us at this point in the show. We're trying to grow the channel. Many of you are watching on there. Just click that thumbs up and subscribe if you're watching this video, particularly if you're a Georgia fan, because we are here 5 days a week talking about the Georgia Bulldogs. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the Twitter handle is right there on the screen. It's at Dawgs Podcast. We'd love a message. We would love for you to follow us and send us a message and let us know what you think about this team. Or you can send us an email, lockedonbulldogs@gmail.com. So excited to be back with Locks today, Clint. Not a great week last week for the Locks, but look, it wasn't an awful week. We went 5-7. Okay, we stubbed our toe a couple times.
A couple of those games. Temple, I was gonna say
you never had a chance. I don't know it. And listen, I made the bet. I thought it was a decent bet. I thought it was Cincinnati was not looking to let down. How good was this weekend for Cincinnati, by the way? BYU loses. That was Cincinnati's biggest threat.
Yep.
Notre Dame squeaks out a win, which is Cincinnati's only game of relevance.
Yep.
And Cincinnati goes on, rolls, blows somebody out, and other teams ahead of them lose, and Cincinnati scuttles on up to the number 3 spot. They make it the playoff, Clint.
We said it.
The winner of the Notre Dame Cincinnati game was going to make the playoff, and Cincinnati making the playoff. Alabama minus 18, we've already covered it. Not a good bet. BYU minus 5, we just covered it. Not a good bet. But we did have some wins, particularly that double lock of UGA minus 15. Shame on you, Las Vegas. Las Vegas, by the way, trying to learn their lesson, Clint, and let's just start there. We're going to talk about lots of games. We're going to give predictions on all the relevant games in college football, or at least the ones that we think we want to bet on. We're going to try to make you some money on this podcast. That's what the Locks show is all about. But we're always going to start, because you can see right there the name of the podcast. It's Locked On Bulldogs. And so that's where we're going to start with the Georgia Bulldogs. Hosting the 11th ranked Kentucky Wildcats, also undefeated. And when two undefeated teams get together after 6 weeks of college football, it's a big-time matchup. Usually the line is not 23 points, Clint.
Vegas has said, I dare you to bet on the Bulldogs, because we are sick and tired of handing out money.
Of giving away money. Minus 23 to an undefeated 11th ranked Kentucky team, Clint. The over-under is 44.5 points. Do you have a lock in this game?
No, sir. No, sir. Look,
you can't do it.
I can't do it. My lean, and look, I'm not giving it as a lock, but you better believe Saturday morning, as the stew is cooked and as I'm settling in, you better believe I'm making a bet on the Dogs to cover, because I talk myself into it every week. But no, it's not a lock. I can't sit up here and tell you that it's going to be worthwhile to do so. There's not a chance. That's too many points. This game, think about every single Kentucky game that Kirby has coached. Okay. They've been 1 field goal, 2 field goal, 1 score, 2 score game affairs all the way throughout. So no, I think I can't do it. Although this team is different, although Kirby is different, all those things are true. Too many points.
Talk to me about the 44.5, Clint. What are your thoughts on total points scored in this game? Obviously, you're not going to give out a lock here, it seems, or you would have led with that. But talk to me about your lean when it comes to 44.5.
Heavy lean under. I'm very close. I was close to making this a lock. I might get on the Twitter machine Saturday morning and I might just ad hoc a lock on Twitter, but they're not official because it's not here. That'd be my lean under, because I think either the game is too close and that's how it's called, or Kirby or Kentucky just doesn't score more than 3. Daniel, that's how this season has gone.
Okay.
You have a lock.
Well, it's a lot of sound logic that's being used. What I heard was,
here we go.
Look at every time Georgia's played Kentucky. Look at every time Kirby Smart's played Mark Stoops in the past. These games have been, and then you just sort of trailed off into like a little blah, 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 blah. Clint, let me ask you a quick question. Is this team even remotely like, do I need to get Sarah on the horn here? Do we need to get her back on the pod? Is this team even remotely like any of those teams? Yes or no will suffice.
No, sir.
Lay them, Clint. You lay them and you lock it up. You lay the points, Clint. 23? I don't care. 23.5? Sure. Lay them.
You know what?
Lay the points.
You know what,
Clint?
No.
Yeah, I do know what.
I'm coming in. I'm coming in. I just made that bet. I said it was a heavy lean. I'm in. I got them at 22.5. Shop it around. If that gets down to 22 or 21.5, I'm telling you what, got a real situation on your hands. I'll lay them.
Just lay them, dog fans. And listen, don't bet your house on it. No. But look, bet 1 unit on it. Listen, if Kentucky proves us wrong, then we'll be out here and it'll be a reevaluation. But listen, when John was on the podcast on, what was that? What day was that? Tuesday. When John was on the podcast on Tuesday, and we were talking about teams most likely to score 10 points, John's conclusion was No team.
No one.
And you and I's conclusion was Tennessee. Anybody mention Kentucky in the conversation, Clint? Did anyone mention Kentucky?
Here's the deal. Clearly, Daniel and I are giving locks out 23, but here's how this game's going to play out. Will Levis is going to try to huck it all over the yard. He don't have weapons to do so. He's down a receiver. I know they got one other receiver who's pretty dang good, but we've gone up against speedy, quick, all SEC, probably best wide receiver in the SEC. We already played him. He plays at Arkansas. Okay, so nobody at Kentucky scares me. Secondly, run game. I played that game too. I'm not scared about that at all. If I was scared about run game, my feelings about Florida game would be a little different, and they're not.
They're not. So, Florida fan, welcome.
Hey, by the way, yeah, didn't think you'd be here so soon, but glad you are.
Well, we love having you. We do. Yeah, look, I would take the under, Clint, but I'm scared to death of the under. Because I see this game playing out a lot like the Arkansas game. And to be fair, in the Arkansas game, we blocked a punt for a touchdown. Those are points that we should not have gotten. But we also stalled out on a lot of drives and kicked a lot of field goals and had a long stretch in the second quarter when the offense could basically not do anything. I think you get a defensive score or a special team score in this game. And I think you could legitimately be looking at Georgia getting up near those 40s in this game. And so 44.5 is a scary number for me. But 23 is not. So lay them. Feel good about it. I feel great about it. Listen, we got lots of other games. If you're a general college football fan, or if you're a Georgia fan, or even a Kentucky fan and we've just offended you greatly, but you would like to make some money, then stick around. We are 51-34 on the season, giving out locks. So good things are happening here on the pod. So stick around. We've got a bunch more logs we're going to throw on the fire. But first, Clint is going to tell you all about this.
SweatBlock. You need SweatBlock. I need SweatBlock. If you are like me and going into Athens, going into any college football stadium, it's still hot in places, y'all. You need sweat protection. That's exactly what SweatBlock does. It's doctor created, doctor recommended, works up to 7 days per use, dry shirt guarantee. SweatBlock doesn't keep you dry. You get your money back. Featured and tested on Rachel Ray with firefighters. That's important. It's the best-selling antiperspirant on the market at Amazon. It's got over 13,000 reviews. Manufactured right here in the US of A. And it sounds too good to be true, but it's not. You only need once or twice a week, and it keeps you dry the whole time. If you or someone you love is dealing with this, you have to check out SweatBlock. Get it today for 20% off at sweatblock.com with promo code LOCKEDON, or at Amazon and CVS.
All right, Clint, I'm going to let you – how many you got?
I got 4 with a possible 5th.
Yikes. I was going to let you go first, but I can't do that because I have 6.
There you go.
I'm going to start in the least popular column of the locks I'm going to give out. Sometimes I save the least popular locks for the end in case people have stopped listening.
Because you want to get that in.
You get less comments that way.
That's right.
I'm going to go with this one. Listen. John brought this up on the podcast on Tuesday. I filed it away. I made a little mental note. LSU, Clint, quit football. They have quit football.
They had a wide receiver and a DB come up with injuries for surgery that they needed. No, y'all. That's
quitting football.
Doctor. Yeah.
Ed Orgeron has officially lost control of Mark Richt's ability to maintain control of the program. It's a dumpster fire at LSU, and you love to see it. To be totally honest with you, I'll tell you who else loves to see it is Dan Mullen, because Florida is playing LSU this weekend. And listen, normally Florida on the road at LSU, this is not an environment. This is not a Florida team that's good enough to lay double digits. But I think the Florida defense is pretty good. And I think the Florida offense is plenty good enough to get a job done against LSU, an LSU team that, listen, kudos to Max Johnson for trying, but who in the heck is he going to throw that ball to, Clint? Now, he had one option, and he's got nobody now. Florida laying 10, and I'm going to tell you, lay them. Lay the 10 with Florida. Give me Florida minus 10. And that's my first lock of the week. I feel great about it, to be honest with you. They're not ranked, so Dan Mullen will beat them. This is the recipe.
Look, throw me in onto the bandwagon of hate for all y'all because I like making money. I like making money.
Money is good. Yeah, we like money.
And Florida's going to win this game handily.
And then go into a bye week just feeling themselves, and it's going to be – just soak it in. As Florida wins this game, Georgia fans, just drink it in.
I was going to say, and I can't wait for this to happen. It's going to be the best thing that takes place because they're going to be all salty, feeling their oats, coming on in here. Oh, gosh, I cannot wait for you all Florida fans to do that to me. Lock it up as well. Daniel, here's another one. I got a couple of principal bets this time through.
Okay. I like a man of principle.
Iowa, highly ranked.
Sure. I wonder where this is going. Hold on.
They are playing Purdue.
Okay. Boiler up.
Look, here's the deal. Iowa should have lost. Okay. Penn State should have won that game. Penn State, not an exceptional team. Iowa, not an exceptional team. They are flawed. Quarterback, offensive line, notably. Purdue, in conference opponent. Iowa coming off of a big win. Double-digit favorite. Daniel, give me Purdue plus 11.5.
Purdue. First time I've typed Purdue on the document this year.
It'll probably be the last.
This is an anti-Iowa play. I get it. It's a chaos play in college football. I totally get it. The Big Ten has done a really good job this year of not losing these games.
Of controlling it.
You know, they have Ohio State lost to Oregon. It was not good for the Big Ten. But Michigan winning these games, Penn State winning these games, Iowa winning these games, Michigan State winning these games, Ohio State winning these.
But these games are close games, Daniel. Michigan State had to have a last-minute field goal to go ahead and they're close games. 11.5 points is too many points.
Let me talk to you about that because Michigan State going on down to Indiana this week.
Here we go.
Who's going to start a quarterback for Indiana? Is it going to be Penix? Or does the Indiana coach want to keep his job? That's the question that everybody's asking. Are you going to start the guy who you thought was going to be good, but he's actually terrible? Or are they going to put in this Tuttle kid, the backup? He's not saying. If Penix plays, I don't feel great. If Tuttle plays, I feel really good. But either way, I think this is the week it catches up to old Mel. I think this is the week that Mel slips up. I think he's going to lose this game.
Ooh.
I think he's going to lose it on the field. If you want to just a little bit of sprinkle on there. But if I'm going to get Indiana plus 4.5, then I'm going to be feeling exceptional about that bet. So give me Indiana plus 4.5. We are going a double dip in Big Ten chaos plays. I love it.
Oh, I do too, man. Y'all, it's an inversion. This year's inverted, just to let you know. Hey, we're going to come back with even more logs to throw on the fire. But first, Dan's going to let you know about this.
Look, rockauto.com is the full mustache of auto parts retailers. Why would you go to an auto parts store when what's going to happen is, let me just spoil it for you. You're going to walk in, a guy named Trevor, who's recently left a questionable review for a fantastic podcast. He's going to be working behind the counter. Trevor, with a peach fuzz on his upper lip, unapologetically, is going to look you in the eye and tell you they don't have the part that you need in stock. They're going to have to, quote, order it from the warehouse. Do you know what you could have done? You could have just stayed at home in whatever clothes you wanted, not gone out, not had to interact with Trevor, and you could have ordered that part from a warehouse just like he did and paid less for it and gotten the exact right part for your car. It's the only way for shopping for car parts that even remotely makes sense. Go to rockauto.com, type in Locked On in the How Did You Hear About Us section, and you are going to get the exact right part that your car needs at a reliably low price. That's rockauto.com for every part that your car will ever need.
Also, we'll let you know about BetOnline.ag. All these bets, all these locks that we are giving out, head over right now to BetOnline.ag, and you could put in your hard-earned cash and get hard-earned cash back because you are earning it because you're following our advice. That's the glory of this. BetOnline.ag is your sportsbook experts. You can bet on any sport, specifically college football right now. When March Madness heads up, you can bet on that. BetOnline.ag, your sportsbook experts, parlays, over-unders, all of them good. However, right now, put in the promo code Locked On, and you're going to get 50%. Daniel, I don't know if this makes sense to people, but you get 50% of what you put down on top of. They're giving you free money on which you can make bets and make money like Georgia to cover this week. Head over right now, BetOnline.ag, your sportsbook experts. All right, Daniel, since you have more than me, keep going. Keep that train moving.
I'm gonna give another double dip. I'm gonna do another 2-for-1 special. This time I'm in the SEC. Okay.
Oh, well,
here we go.
I'm
betting on 2 3-point favorites in the SEC, one at home and one on the road.
You love to see.
Give me Ole Miss and Arkansas. Okay. Ole Miss traveling to Tennessee. They're only laying 3 points. Ole Miss got taken to the woodshed defensively by Arkansas last week. Got absolutely,
manhandled.
Is Arkansas better than Alabama, Clint?
Arkansas? I'm telling you all right now, we beat the top 3 teams in the SEC when we beat Arkansas.
Okay. They got taken. I do not think Tennessee is going to be able to do that to Ole Miss's defense. I think they will respond. I'm not saying that unit is great, but I do think they are better than they showed last week. Tennessee cannot run the ball the way that Arkansas can. They don't have the power to overwhelm them. And so, give me Ole Miss, laying 3 in Knoxville. And then Arkansas is at home. Okay.
Yep.
So give me Arkansas laying 3 at home against Auburn. Now, listen, I don't think Auburn – this is not an anti-Auburn play.
No.
This is – and in fact, it makes me a little nervous this line's only 3 points because I would actually feel better if I was betting it -3.5. Obviously, I wouldn't because those are worse odds. But it makes me feel a little bit nervous the line's only 3 points. But I'm a believer. I'm a believer in what Sam Pittman's trying to do. They have an identity. And did we or did we not impose our will running the football against Auburn, especially as that game wore on in the second half? Clint?
Yep.
Can Arkansas keep the game at least close through halftime and then begin to lean on Auburn defensively up front and do the exact same thing against them?
They're disciplined, a great disciplined team. They're not going to fall for Bo Nix doing his thing all over the place. They have linebackers that can fly. They're going to go back. Wait a second. Hey, Bo, can you read zone defense? Because they're going to drop 8 in back coverage. Daniel, I love this play so much. Why don't you just go ahead and put a 2 next to it?
Oh, Arkansas. Let's just double that up.
Double dip that thing. And let me keep going in the SEC, Daniel, because here's another principal play I have. Just like Arkansas. You're saying Arkansas has an identity. They're going to impose themselves. They're not going to let down. They're doing great things offensively and defensively. I'm going to tell you another team that's not as good as Arkansas on a lot of facets, which is very weird. But look, Alabama is going to skull drag Mississippi State. Okay? They're going to skull drag them, Daniel. They're going to skull drag them. Alabama has good QB play. They have found a wide receiver in that transfer. He's going to be fine. They got a running game. Mississippi State is not a good team on any stretch of the imagination, Daniel.
Okay.
17 points is what you're telling me. And the class ranking between, I know Alabama's down this year. I get it. I understand. They're not down that bad. 17 points. Give me Alabama.
I mean, it's probably a good bet. And you could not tempt me in a million years to bet Mississippi State and take these points. I will not be sprinkling any on this money line. But makes me a little nervous. Okay. I'll tell you another team that makes me nervous, but it's a principal play as you have been making all day. And so I'm going to make it as well. Stanford, Washington State. Does Washington State have a home field advantage, Clint? Is that a home field that we should be?
Let me do this right now, y'all. The Pac-12, no team has home field except for one, and it's Oregon, and even that is like a half home field.
Okay, so you're telling me Stanford's laying 1, which means I'm just betting on who's going to win. Who's a better team, Stanford or Washington State? Now listen, Stanford has had their ups and downs this year. Big ups, big downs.
Oh yeah.
Washington State coming off a win. They've had their ups and downs as well this year. But Stanford's a better team. Give me this is just a straightforward, don't overthink it. Stanford -1. And I feel great about that play. And then my last play of the week, Clint, is Georgia Tech covered against Duke last week.
Ooh,
it was not pretty.
It was so ugly.
I did not like it. I did not enjoy any aspect of watching it. But now Virginia's playing Duke this week. Okay. Virginia is coming off a gut-wrenching game.
That poor kicker.
Okay. Highly emotional game Virginia's coming off. Now they're going to play Duke. I think this is just a feel-good game for Virginia. I don't feel any trepidation about laying these points. I only have to lay 10.5 with Virginia. So give me Virginia -10.5 against Duke, and that's going to finish out the card for me.
I'm gonna throw one more on there. I was thinking about this the whole time, but I'm going with Pac-12 chaos. I'm going with who the heck knows what's going on. Arizona State and Utah. Utah, talk about a team that gave up. They gave up a couple weeks ago. They got skull dragged by BYU. They got handed to them. Now all of a sudden they're playing Arizona State. Arizona State, Washington is a pick'em game. Daniel,
why? Why?
This is why it's a late log on the fire. Okay,
Arizona State should be favored by 8 in this game.
So somebody knows something. Okay?
They do.
I get that. I don't know what Vegas Insider knows, and when I mean Vegas Insider, I mean a guy who literally is carrying multiple weapons in his car. Okay.
Has to.
Oh, has to for protection, literally. But give me Arizona State, Daniel. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's Pac-12. This line stinks. I get it, but that's a silly matchup.
It's a silly line. All right. That does it for locks. Join us tomorrow. We'll be back talking more about the Georgia-Kentucky game. If you're a Georgia fan, subscribe to the podcast. Thanks for being here. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And we'll be back talking about what we're excited about, what we're nervous about, and what you shouldn't sleep on for the Kentucky game. And may have another guest.